Moyon High School was awarded for 2 consecutive years for its successful fight against bullying. Unfortunately, the reality is somewhat different. A group of students led by the rich kid Sugam bully other students. The main target for bullying is Ko Ji-hyo. He can be kept in the storage room for hours, fed scraps, or just slapped in the face during the next fun game. And the group does this openly. The sounds of slaps are heard by students in all the classes. In the school, everyone pretends that nothing is happening, even the teachers. Recently, a new teacher named Seo Shi-Min started working here. A positive and cheerful girl. She immediately made friends with the staff. But there was an issue with the principal. He constantly stares at her butt and doesn't even hide it. Seo Shi-Min has to endure it to secure a full-time position. Eavesdropping on colleagues' conversation in the restroom, the girl learned that the previous ethics teacher died. She should also learn something about the students. Zhao Jigen showed a recording where the students are bullying an old woman selling kimbap near the school. Their leader is Shugam, a guy who practices martial arts. He was expelled from many schools for constantly beating someone up. Just until you join us permanently, close your eyes and ears. Just pretend to be oblivious. Seo Shi-Min should not interfere in the students' affairs. They will figure it out themselves. The new teacher isn't a pushover either. After pounding the punching bag, she did a side split. The girl could hardly wait for her brother, a police officer, to get off work so she could beat him up in the ring. Seo Shi-Min practiced taekwondo, judo, boxing. She has lots of awards, but for some reason, the athlete wanted to become a teacher. Her father received the Brave Citizen Award. Seo Shi-Min is like him. The girl has the same heightened sense of justice. However, her dad once crossed a powerful person, and now he has a huge debt. To cover it, Seo Shi-Min has to get a teaching job. The father works in his gym with children. As she left, Seo Shi-Min pocketed a children's cat mask. Outside, the teacher saw the same old woman who was being bullied by the students. She bought all the kimbap from her. Arriving at school, Seo Shi-Min once again donned a mask of friendliness. Following advice, the girl decided to turn a blind eye to all the students' shortcomings. The pot covered one of the surveillance cameras so they could freely beat Ji-hen. The leader put a bag over his head. Seo Shi-Min is struggling with herself not to intervene. Sugam kicked the poor guy with all his might. The teacher wanted to stop the chaos, but Byonji stopped her. Even teachers need to fear Sugama. Sa se patruže gilestele Chigoroa. The school literally belongs to his family, and his uncle and father hold high positions in the police and the prosecutor's office. If you run away, your grandmother will die today. Now I will jump and kick you in the face. The woman selling kimbaps is Ji-hyun's grandmother. Shi-Min finally couldn't stand it and elbowed the jerk in the leg when he swung at Ji-hyun. She just pretended it happened accidentally. The teacher saved the boy and sent him to class. Who is she? The new teacher. She replaces Yoo Ji-yeon, who died because of you. Shugam lashed out at the sycophant so they wouldn't blame him for the teacher's death anymore. Byonjin would also like to learn how to fight, but the boxing coach doesn't take him seriously. On the roof, poor Ji-hyun clumsily punched the bag, but such training is of little use. He asked the new teacher for help. The other teachers gave up on him long ago. Ji-hyun, just change schools. Right? Ji-hyun had already been to the police, but without evidence, they didn't even want to listen to him. The guy won't change schools out of principle, and he doesn't intend to skip classes either. The poor fellow let his emotions out and cried. The girl wants to help him, but she can't afford to lose her job. Seo Shi-Min remembered how she once lost a fixed match. That day her father disowned her. She cannot trample on her honor and conscience again. She approached the bullies and asked Sugan what his problem was. Maybe there's something wrong with his personal life. Sugan raised his fist at the teacher, but she didn't even flinch. Seo Shi-Min lowered the student's fist and made it clear she wasn't afraid of him. All the teachers received a message. Someone wrote a complaint to the school committee about Sugan. His stepmother immediately came here with her lawyer. She accused the teachers of slander. The stepmother suspects that Jigen did this. the head teacher last year, the fool also wrote complaints. The witch first hit her lawyer and then pushed a woman. The director also got it. Seo Shi-Min fell to her knees and admitted she was the one who wrote the complaint. The stepmother started threatening her with dismissal. "You will never get rid of me." Shogun does not want the young teacher to be fired, as then he will be left without a toy. The policeman also cannot help the sister, even though several complaints have already been filed against the Shogun. The father coach asked how he could help his sad daughter, but now she doesn't want to talk to him. Shogun and his gang started to harass the teacher and threaten her. The thug's friends photographed her as if she was kissing Jihen. Shogun sat the girl on his lap. The students took a few more compromising photos. If the teacher listens to Shogun, she will work full-time, but if not, she's finished. Seo Shi-Min barely held back from using her fist. The gang drags Ji-hyun everywhere like a toy. The teacher told the new girl that the situation is hopeless, and she would have to accept it. On the street, some jerk bumped into Seo Shi-Min, then turned around, insulted her, and hit her on the head. Apologizing requires doing it properly. And you? What? What's this? At that moment, Seo Shi-Min realized she had to take matters into her own hands, and she'll start with this guy. When he swung again, the girl knocked him out with a blow on the... At the same time, the students got into a fight with the athletes on the basketball court. Sugano had enough skill to single-handedly take down half of the opponents. Seo Shi-Min watched the fight. She put on a cat mask and leapt at Sugano. He tried to fight back, but soon he was back on the asphalt. After that, Shi-Min put the student in a joint lock. He managed to get up and kicked her. However, the girl knows how to take a hit. The fight ended with one of Shogun's teeth knocked out. The police arrived. Shogun never found out who attacked him. Left alone, Shi-Min took off her mask and laughed for the first time in a long while. Another student, Bayonji, discovered her secret. The teacher arrived at work very pleased. The news that Sugana was beaten spread throughout the school. Both teachers and students are happy about it. But who beat him up? It was a person in a cat mask. The principal couldn't contain his joy either. Was Han Sugana really beaten up? I heard that too. It upset me so much. Someone wrote on Sugan's desk that he is a loser. The bully threw it in frustration and anger. The teacher is worried that the thug might want revenge on her, but Sugan, as usual, plans to take his anger out on Ji-hyun. Bayong-jin found out that his acquaintance, the coach, is the father of their new teacher. Her brother criticizes her for beating up the student, saying that problems can be solved with violence. Meanwhile, the gang stripped Ji-hyun, covered his body with marker, and forced him to run around the city in his underwear. In that state, image dostop mozaik dajata. He ran into a snack bar and placed an order for the bullies. Bayong-jin told the teacher about what happened and asked her for help. Ji-hyun grabbed a knife and rushed outside. An unknown person in a cat mask came to the billiard hall to the bullies again. Today Sang-woo attacked first. He is firmly determined to take revenge and restore his authority. But again, nothing worked out. The sly fighter smashed his face once more. At that moment, Ji-hyun burst into the room with a knife. He was ready to stab Sugan, but the teacher saved the scoundrel. However, she got injured herself. The poor guy screamed at the top of his lungs and went into a frenzy. Die! He yells at Sugana. The boy's grandmother came for him. Seo Shi-Min was stabbed. She was admitted to the hospital. Relatives are trying to understand how it happened. While the father focused on the cat mask, the man put it on to take revenge on the school bullies for his daughter. But Sugan severely beat him with a billiard ball. The coach wanted to do something good for his daughter. That evening, when Seo Shi-Min deliberately lost the boxing match, she missed the chance to go to the Olympics. The girl did it to earn a decent sum and save her bankrupt father. His gym was about to be auctioned off. You are no longer my daughter. My daughter died in the ring. To protect her family, Seo Shi-Min gave up her dream. Dad cried and asked her for forgiveness for those words. The gang is sure that the elusive cat studies at their school. He can be identified by a cut on his left arm. Shugan and his cronies terrorize and intimidate the students. The scoundrel stepped on a girl's head. If the masked person does not reveal himself, then Sugan will start killing. I found the cat. Meow. In reality, back then she saved not him from the knife, but that weakling, to prevent him from being thrown behind bars. The scoundrel twisted the teacher's arm and put a bag over her head. Shugan challenged her to a duel in front of the entire school, and if the girl refuses, he will post a video online showing Ji-hyun waving a knife. The teacher visited the boy at his home. Grandma said that he can be found on the roof. It all started when the young man defended his grandma from bullies. He was badly beaten then. Ji-hyun got on his knees and agreed to become Shugan's slave, just so he would leave his grandmother alone. Before this, their slave was Byung-jin. Ji-hyun wonders why this happened to him. All the students found out that today there will be a fight at school between Sugan and the cat mask. Byung-jin handed out masks to the students so they could support the hero. He suffered a lot because of Shugan. Finally, someone will be able to punish him. The ring was set up right in the middle of the school. Today, the teacher will try to get revenge for all the kids who have suffered for years from school bullies' torment. Shugan was already waiting for her in the ring. He started actively, landing many blows on Shi-Min and receiving almost nothing in return. At one moment, all the spectators saw the long hair of the unknown fighter. Could it be a woman under the mask? Shugan delivered several knee strikes to the head and knocked his opponent down on the mat. The scoundrel is brutally kicking the girl in front of her father and uncle, but Seo Shi-Min cannot let Ji-hyun down. She applied a leg lock, then pushed off the corner of the ring and kicked Sugan in the head. Another spectacular kick sent the schoolboy to the side. I will bring you to your knees. Let everyone see how pathetic you are. Finally, Seo Shi-Min took off the mask, and everyone saw that underneath it was the ethics teacher. The whole hall started chanting her name. It was time to finish off this jerk. Seo Shi-Min closed the distance and started pummeling the student in close combat. Then she jumped on his neck and struck his head with her elbow a couple of times. A powerful hook sent the criminal into a knockdown. The principal threatened the teacher with dismissal, but Shugan shut him up. He is still confident he can prevail. Well, Shi-Min continued the beating. The principal took a hit to the nose too. The girl also took a few hits, but then regained her composure, spun around, and kicked him in the jaw with all her might. Taking a good run up, Shi-Min kicked the bully in the face with both feet, sending him flying out of the ring. He ended up right at the feet of Ji-hyun, and the teacher demanded that he apologize to his victim. But the guy doesn't want an apology from this loser. With his last strength, Shugan grabbed a plywood sign and ran towards Shi-Min, but she knocked him out with her signature kick. Finally, Ji-hyun's statement was accepted by the police, and the former bully came to the station with a video recording. It shows how the school gang bullied the previous teacher, who later passed away. Shugan and his henchmen were arrested, and Seo Shi-Min began teaching combat aerobics for women. The girl continued to dispense justice. She got a job again as a teacher, in a school where wealthy students commit chaos without consequence.